You'll go to anybody. You'll do anything. I mean, when something like this happens, you go to places you never thought you would go. You'll do things you never thought you could do.
Otis Kinsey says over the last 30 years, he's gone to great lengths to find his daughter. But the only person who truly knows where she is would never tell him. In 1985, after days of taunting the family during the trial, saying he was the only one who would ever know the real story, Royal Russell Long was acquitted in the Oklahoma City murder case of 13-year-old Charlotte Kinsey and Cinda Pallett. He was taken back to a Wyoming prison to continue serving out a life sentence for kidnapping and raping 2 other girls. In 1993, Long died of a heart attack on the prison lawn, taking with him the answer to the one question the Kinsey family is still looking for till this day.
We would have to go to all these cities, and they'll throw you a book of all the remains they found and say, hey, you look through it, knock yourself out.
You know, I spend a lot of time researching it because I would really like, you know, the thought of her being somewhere labeled unidentified just seems terrible.
But former prosecutor Ray Elliott says he doesn't think the girls' remains will ever be found. He says what investigators really knew about Royal Russell Long would sicken most people, like things he had said to his own daughter, who said he had molested her many times.
Her father had told her, one, that no female over the age of 13 could satisfy him sexually.
Long's daughter also told investigators how she'd witnessed him try to lure young girls into his truck in several different fairs and carnivals across the country.
He'd also made the statement to her that he was so good that he could be in a closed room, straddling a dead body, with a bullet in the brain of the body, and him holding a gun in his hand that matched the bullet in the person's body, and that he would never be convicted.
With all the information given by Long's daughter, investigators believe he may have had hundreds of victims over the years. Elliott says they were able to track down more than half a dozen girls in various states who say they were approached by Long. Add to that the fact that he was a trained meat cutter and had once told a fellow inmate, if you cut the bodies up small enough and shove them down a rat hole, no one will ever find them. Elliott says they knew they were dealing with a serial killer.
I truly believe, and I think I can show you that truly believe, that the bodies are within 45 miles of where we sit right now, in a rat hole, just like he said, in some field grown over with grass.
Because the girls disappeared during the oil boom in Oklahoma, and they know Long delivered equipment to drilling rigs there, Elliott believes Long never left the state with the girls. Upon further investigation into oil-filled rat holes, he learned there could be tens of thousands of them in the area where Long worked.
And then to further add to that, when a well is completed, either by hitting oil or hitting a dry hole, the rat hole is capped off with concrete and forever forgotten.
But even today, more than 30 years later, Charlotte's family holds on to hope. Just a few months ago, while researching online, Christy Lane found her sister listed as one of 3 possible matches for remains found in Tennessee.
It's unreal how many unidentified remains are found in the United States alone that are never identified.
Although Charlotte was eventually ruled out as a match for those remains, Christy says coming so close has only fueled her efforts.
I thought even if you had to email every medical examiner that had remains fitting in that age group from them years, it would be worth it.
I became very close to the families, and I made them promises that I was unable to fulfill, because I promised them that I would convict Royal Russell Long.
Elliott says this case still haunts him till this day, and he says if he ever wins big in the lottery, he would spend it to help find the girls. In Oklahoma City, Jayla Gray, First